Welcome to the second Track the Trainer. I'm Coach Tom, and week one is in the books. Hey, and happy Memorial Day to all the men and women in the armed forces, and thank you for your service. And thank you, viewers, for your words of encouragement. We've gotten many comments on Facebook and through Twitter, and we've got one subscriber already. So, hey, thank you for that. Don't forget, at the end, subscribe so you can learn more about Track the Trainer. All right, let's talk about week one. For week one, I lost 4 pounds. I did 2 days of resistance training, 2 days on the elliptical, was pretty good about my eating. Put the shirt on this morning, it still does not look awesome, but we're making progress. And 4 pounds is not going to happen every week. In fact, if you look at the scale, it actually bumped up and down. I'll show that here in a second. But we're hoping for 1 pound a week. Remember, 1 pound a week to get us where we need to go. And thank you, Matilda, for knocking over the trash can while I'm doing this. Okay, let's talk about the weight first. I weigh myself every day. I wouldn't necessarily encourage doing that. Sometimes it can be a little discouraging, especially when one day you're up a pound, one day you're down a pound, one day you're up 2 pounds, next day you're down 2 pounds. It can really fluctuate day to day to day, depending upon hydration, water intake, that type of thing. So I did it just to show that I was tracking it. But I would say for most people, once a week makes more sense. But ultimately, I did lose 4 pounds. This week, I did resistance training twice, which for most people is plenty, 2 times a week. You don't need to go 3, 4, 5 times a week. If your schedule allows, that's great, but most people can't keep that up week in, week out, week in, week out. Life gets in the way. So I'm a big believer, start with twice a week, work your way up, go to 3 times. 3 times is plenty for most people. I also did 2 days a week on the elliptical. So, I did have 4 days of structured exercise. But with the resistance training program, I started with a stretching warm-up. It is absolutely vital that I do it. Most people should do it. I do a dynamic stretch. It has sort of a yoga flow feel to it. I have many injuries, including 2 herniated discs in my back and a separated shoulder, probably due to playing football for 11 years. And if I don't stretch, I create all sorts of muscle imbalances that can cause a lot of discomfort in my back, a lot of discomfort in my shoulders. So stretching is very important for me. Went on to a balance exercise. With the standing on one leg and the rotation, it's more of a dynamic balancing and stabilization exercise. Really helps with balance. 2 core exercises. I did some pike raises with my feet on the ball, and I did some twists laying on the ball with the medicine ball. Moved on to a full body exercise, which is a squat curl press. Great exercise. Every muscle in your body works. Not too terribly complicated, not too hard. Then went on to a back or pulling exercise. Just simple cable rows with a little twist in the back. Looking at the video now, my form was not perfect, but we're going to work on that as the week goes. And that's really half the battle, is working on it. Went to a biceps exercise, a triceps exercise, and then a leg exercise. Love to do those bis. And that is a complete workout. The whole thing took me about an hour, well, a little longer, trying to get it on film, but generally speaking, it takes me about an hour. Okay, so I also did 2 days on the elliptical. I got my heart rate up to about 130 to 145 for 45 minutes and just rolled. By the time I was done, I was tired but not exhausted. In fact, quite frankly, even felt a little bit refreshed. And I sweat. Oh, did I sweat. So I was doing something. I wasn't able to carry on a conversation. I think that if you get on the elliptical, you should be focusing on the elliptical. You shouldn't be reading. You shouldn't be watching TV. Really make it count. Make those minutes count. If you'll note on the photo, I say that I want to start running at 11 pounds. Right now, my body can't take the repetitive pounding of running. My back can't take it. My hips can't take it. So when I get down to 240, my goal is to start doing a little bit more running. But we're most likely 8 to 10 weeks away from that. So we're probably looking at closer to the fall before I can start running again. Okay, let's take a look at the accountability sheet. If you look at my first goal, walk the dog 40 minutes, did a pretty good job on that. In fact, no days where I missed walking the dog. Eliminating diet soda, I had that one little blip back on the 12th, but for this last week, did very, very well. Fruit or veggie with every meal. On the 28th, I was in Denver and had to go to a fast food restaurant, and, well, fast food had a burrito. Was not able to have a fruit or vegetable with my breakfast. On the 23rd, I know the goal is to not have sugar in the first three ingredients. Slipped up a little bit on this one. Did not get my weight on the 28th. Again, was out of town in Denver and not able to do that. So let's look at the weight. We started 255 to 54. We got down to 251, and this is why I say tracking it every day is a little tough, because then on the 26th I popped back up to 252 and back down to 251. So ultimately, first week, 4-pound loss. Can probably attribute a lot of that to the water weight that I lost by hydrating a little bit better and eating a little bit better. But I'll take it. 251 is not bad at all. Something to keep in mind, it was on the Friday, so 26th, 27th, whatever the Friday was, I had to go out to eat. Okay, so again, this is not a diet. I'm not counting calories. I'm living my life. I didn't have to go out to eat. I chose to go out to eat. Went out with family to have a nice dinner. And really just focused on the portions. Made sure I had a smaller cut of meat. Made sure that I had vegetables with that meal. Didn't eat a huge dessert. Didn't have a full plate of bread when they first brought it. Really just being conscious of the fact that I, am watching what I eat and not eating everything that everybody puts down in front of me. For the week of the 29th, the new lifestyle change is going to be net 100 ounces of water. So what does that mean? Most mornings I'll have between 16 and 24 ounces of coffee. So I don't count that as fluid intake. In fact, I count that as negative fluid intake because of the caffeine content. So if I have 24 ounces of coffee, that means I have to have 124 ounces of water throughout the day to make up for that. A couple reasons I want to do that. The more hydrated I am, the better I feel. Water tends to fill me up. So if I'm drinking enough water, I'm not usually as hungry. The more hydrated you are, more hydrated I am, the less likely I am to eat foods high in carbohydrates. So again, not going to count calories, not going to go on a diet, just going to make a lifestyle change to help me get to that next pound. Going into next week, I have several goals. This week I did not get a hike in, so one time during the week I want to get a short, maybe 3 to 4 mile hike in with my hiking buddy. I want to get down 1 pound to an even 250. I want to be a little better about my food intake. I want to really get a full 7 days of 100 ounces of net water. I'm not going to change anything to my workout. I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing for my workout. Might make it a little harder, might add some reps and sets, but the workout itself is going to stay the same. And after about 4 weeks, I'll make a change and we'll have a completely new workout. Hey, and thanks everybody for watching. We are up to 1 subscriber, like I mentioned before. Would love to get to 5. So that's the other goal for this week, is to get to 5 subscribers. So if you're watching this, please click on the subscribe button. Tell all your friends. I know a couple people have taken some inspiration from what I'm doing to help them make some lifestyle changes as well. Please feel free to comment if you have any questions. Love to answer them for you, and look forward to seeing you next week at even 250 pounds.